This is extremely fitting. Sounds like Cybertruck owners might soon get metal key cards instead of plastic ones. I think maybe Tesla should do that for all of its premium vehicles, so for the Model S and X, and definitely for the Cybertruck. Typically, from my personal experience with FSD, if there is a parked car and FSD needs to drive around it, it's very jittery and it's very uncomfortable for the driver usually. But check this out. This is smooth as butter. I don't have my hopes high for this public release, but what I'm looking forward to is how fast will each iteration come out and how much will it improve between iterations. Tesla chief designer did a quick interview in Shanghai. He didn't really say anything new here, but he did say that trucks right now are kind of boring. Having somebody bold like Elon is really the power behind being able to do that, to have these radical designs. So certainly he's behind Elon 100%. Uh-oh, James is warning that this will trigger some people. Being more profitable while accomplishing the mission actually accelerates the mission. Legacy Auto is slowing down its EV production and launch plans. Panasonic is delaying investments in new battery factories. Tesla has delayed Giga Mexico. Why? Because there is less money to be made. Because value has been destroyed. Why? Because instead of educating the consumer about why they need to buy an EV instead of a gas-powered vehicle, the market leader has cratered asset values, allows EV FUD to run rampant unabated, and has created a price war that benefits no one except consumers that have a brain and do a tiny little bit of research into which car they should buy. Because as long as you can charge at home, buying an EV, if it's in your purchase price range, that's the only logical option really. If it's all about the mission mostly, I think it would make sense to educate the buyers, to let them know that Teslas are actually much better than gas-powered vehicles as long as these people can charge at home. If you cannot charge at home, then I would not get an EV yet. I had a friend who did that, and she lived in an apartment. She sold her Tesla. Maybe in 5 years, 7 years or so, even if you cannot charge at home, then maybe it will make sense to buy an EV regardless whether you can charge at home, because charging speeds by then will be significantly faster. And on top of that, there will be more charging stations everywhere. Because currently, for my friend, it was not so much the issue of charging for 30 minutes at the supercharger, it was the additional 15 minutes that you had to drive to the supercharger and then another 15 minutes to drive back from the supercharger. So it was an errand that would take at least an hour every single week. Another downside of that I observed is I've seen people say things like, well, if I own a Tesla and I live in an apartment, I have to charge a supercharger. Let's say I don't mind charging it at the supercharger. I don't mind spending all of that time every single week. But if I decide to go on a road trip suddenly because my friends invited me to go somewhere, but my battery is only at 30% currently, it means by the time you would arrive, you would have missed out on some of the fun because you spent 30 minutes charging, 40 minutes charging maybe, depending on how far you need to drive. All of this is going to change because charging speeds are going to get faster, and most apartment complexes will have EV chargers. So it's only a temporary problem.